Alright. Welcome back, everybody. Drama's rife in the StarCraft community right now because there's new Cyclone changes upon changes upon changes. We are looking at a game that apparently is going to reveal a lot about the changes, of course, from the 28th of August, just a few days ago, where you can see them on screen. They did a bunch of crazy things. Down here, we have a 3600 MMR Diamond 2 Terran player, No Rage SC. I like that name. I bet they rage a lot. Up here at the top right, it's their friend Primal Killer. So this is a Protoss player who's Masters 1, a 4800 MMR Protoss player, so there's a 1200 MMR gap between these two players. Now, for those who don't know about the changes, like I said, you can see them on screen, but maybe you're just listening, maybe you're not watching. So essentially, the Cyclone's a little bit faster before the speed buff, that speed upgrade kicks in, and it's a little bit slower after the speed upgrade kicks in. So slightly buffed pre-upgrade, slightly nerfed post-upgrade. Damage is much bigger. It's got a little bit less damage versus non-armored units, but -1, but +2 versus armored units. So it's much better at killing things like stalkers and roaches and that sort of thing. More importantly is that final change. +20 hit points after the upgrade kicks in. Yes, the upgrade costs 50 more minerals and 50 gas to compensate, but a 20% life upgrade after that upgrade's kicked in for a unit that already looked pretty, like it's massable, it's super fast, it can move and shoot. My immediate instincts upon seeing these changes was this is cracked. These changes are too good. The unit already, I think, was on the cusp of being silly broken in some situations, even if it didn't look that good in other situations. And I think for a unit that's so fast, can move and shoot, and you can pump out so quickly out of reacted factories, and it shoots up and it shoots down, it's so versatile. To give it 20 hit points on a super versatile unit like that is so dangerous, in my opinion. And I immediately hopped on the ladder, started playing some games, and I was like, okay, this is kind of broken. This is like too powerful. But I look back on it, my friends were like, okay, my mate that I was playing with, Apple Juice, hadn't played against it. He's like, I'm pretty sure I did everything wrong. Like, give me another game or two, I think I'd deal with it. But despite that, I still kind of felt like, yeah, okay, maybe. But what might be the bigger concern is, how does it perform in low-level games, right? Even at my level, it performed way overperformed, but players weren't used to it, so benefit of the doubt. Pro players are still saying it's not that great for the most part, at least against Protoss. Against Zerg, maybe a bit too good, but against Protoss, they're like, still not good, still Stalkers beat it and all this sort of stuff. But I was like, well, what about if you've got, here we go, okay, a Masters 1 player, still not even low level, but Diamond versus Masters, going to be a little bit of a different matchup. Now let's take a look at the builds, guys. So No Rage has gone for a bit of a late command center here, and is now going to be swapping a factory onto the reactor and building a second factory. So it's a 1 base, 2 factory opening with a very late command center. So No Rage is just like, me make Cyclone as quickly as possible. And Killer, on the other hand, is going Stargate. So Stargate with an Adept and a Shield battery. I mean, that'll defend the first few Cyclones if you can get a Stalker or 2 out as well. And indeed, a Stalker does start. And Oracle, I think, is quite good if you just build 1 and go Blink. Otherwise, you need to, like, non-stop go Phoenix. It is going to be Phoenix and pick up those Cyclones when they overcommit in your territory, stop them from retreating. I actually think Phoenix Charge can be quite okay as well, just because, like, you pick up, like, a bunch of Cyclones, then you just drop them as your Zealots get on top to surround them. That's all pretty technical. We'll see how Killer chooses to do it. Killer right now just going to be getting... What is this? Okay, Robo. All right, so we're going to see Phoenix Colossus play. That's a very good way to play against Bio. I don't know if Phoenix Colossus is the greatest here, because Colossus are a long-range unit, and Phoenix are kind of a short-range unit. But at least you get the scouting, and you could just go Immortals. Actually, Immortal Phoenix would be perfect. Immortals do massively destroy these Cyclones. However, guess what, guys? When that upgrade kicks in, they don't anymore. Because once you get that upgrade, 120 hit points, they're going to take 3 shots again, like the old Cyclone, to kill, not the 2 shots. So that upgrade's actually really impactful against Immortals. You've also got to realize, if the Immortal gets +2 damage, it'll do 60 damage a shot. So as long as there's no armor upgrades for the Terran, you've got +2 attack, you'll 2-shot it. Once it gets even 1 armor upgrade, doesn't matter if it's 1 armor upgrade or 3 armor upgrades for the Terran. Once you've got +3 attack, you're doing 65 damage a shot. So you're going to 2-shot it no matter what. But that upgrade is going to be pretty important. Upgrades coming in right now. No Rage has a bunch of Cyclones off these 2 factories. You can make a lot of Cyclones off 2 factories, guys. This is like having, 3-gate Stalker production, basically. It's a good amount of units. Already going for 4 gases. No Rage. I don't think you need that much gas, actually, because Cyclones only cost 50 gas now. This is kind of like the mindset of the old Cyclone. I was taking my gases too early when I was using it as well. And I was like, wait, why do I have so much gas banked up? And I was like, oh yeah, you don't need that much gas for these Cyclones. Now, Primal Killer has scouted the 2 factory and is building an Immortal. So good on Primal, just sitting on 2 base, chilling, and is way ahead in economy. But Phoenix fly in one of the dice instantly. Okay, so these Phoenix, they could, like I said, they could help. But there's always a point where if you don't have a critical massive Phoenix, you kind of want to back out of it, usually, and go for something a little bit different. So it's going to be really interesting to see exactly kind of which way this goes. Robo Bay is about halfway done. Armory's on the way right now as well. So it's going to be a single armory, 2 factories, no third command center, man. No Rage has basically committed a lot to this Cyclone attack, and it needs to, at the very least, I would say, cancel the third of Protoss. I don't know if you can kill him, because a battery overcharge and an immortal will be very helpful. Observer sees it, which is very important. There's only one immortal. There's so little damage. Killer has almost no damage, and Killer doesn't... Oh no, Killer's Phoenix are on the main army group. Oh my god, the army's a bit far out. There are 2 batteries, though. The Cyclones are really umming and ahhing right now. Is No Rage going to commit or not? No Rage has to go right now, I would say, and at least deny that third base. But it's going to go forwards. Doesn't know about it. Okay, sees no third on that side. He's going to try and go to the other side. Oh, look at that. That Stalker almost dies instantly. But look at this. Good choice by No Rage. He's just going to go for the third, deny that, keep them on a low economy. Now, keep in mind, I don't think they auto-lock onto buildings. But the lock-on does the same damage as the regular attack. Same attack speed as well. So it's not really... It doesn't really matter that much, right? It's just the lock-on allows you to move and shoot, essentially. Probe is out to the left side. So stuck on 2 bases now. Colossus, I think we're not bad against the Cyclone at 100 hit points. At 120, I don't think the Colossus are really worth it. You're doing, what, 2 times 10 damage? I don't know. Feels like you're going to take too many swipes, even though you will outrange the Colossus. And a lot of Protoss players are like, yeah, I want to outrange the Colossus so it can't, like, lock on and kite. I really don't think it's that much of a kiting unit anymore. Here we go. Phoenix going to try to pick up. The Immortal Stalker trying to go forward. The Phoenix are getting hammered, though, and pushing out just before the Colossus is there without the critical massive units. Not a good choice. Does end up costing Killer. Now, Killer should probably cut Phoenix production and swap into Twilight Council at this point or something like that. He's going to try to keep building the Phoenix up. But once you don't have those first Phoenix die, it gets really, really tough. Third commands that are only starting at 7 minutes. Crazy thing is Protoss has 60 workers, guys. Protoss is still like so far ahead economically just by being the better player, but that unit's lost. It tells you a story. Only 4 Cyclones died for a Sentry, a Stalker, an Adept, 5 Phoenix, a Pylon, a Probe, and a Nexus Cancel. Killer did misclick the minerals, unfortunately, but he's going to be trying to get back on top here. You know, it's kind of funny, right? Because you look at that last fight, you're like, okay, it did go that good. But are these the right units to deal with the Cyclone? And that's something we've got to ask ourselves. Where's the mass Immortal production? Why aren't people just massing Immortals versus Cyclones? I do wonder how that goes now that they take 3 shots to kill rather than 2. Because it's hard to kite the Immortals. Because, like, what are you going to do? Lock on and then pull back to 9 range? 6 to 9 range is not that big a difference. And how many Cyclones are actually going to get locked on when you move in and out like that? That works in a 1-on-1 scenario. But in a big mass battle, only your front couple Cyclones will get in range to lock on before you have to pull back. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! The Colossus just get locked on and go down! Wait. By the way, guys, that was a lot of Cyclones did die there, so not the worst fight, but what is this? What is this? Is that ship weapons +1? Why are you getting ship weapons +1? You don't even have a starport, mate! Guys, No Rage thinks they made +1 weapons. But they just made +1 ship weapons. They made the wrong upgrade. That is so funny. Cyclones come in, take out a probe. They take out a few of these Stalkers. Okay, pretty good kiting, actually. I thought the Colossus would do okay, but oh, Killer! A little bit sloppy with the Phoenix pickups. Oh my god, the Stalker Immortal Colossus trying to come forward. But the Phoenix all get picked off. The Cyclones get dropped and they get out of there. And there's now 7 Cyclones being built at a time. 3 reactors, 1 tech lab. That is insane. No SCVs on the third yet, no orbital or anything like that. The Cyclones are just running in and out right now. Finally, we've got that third going up, trying to take the gases there as well. You'll notice No Rage is still thinking of this as a normal mech style. And he's like, I need gas. It's like, no, you don't. You actually just need minerals. You've got way too much gas already in. No. What? +2 ship weapons. No Rage is making +2 ship weapons. What the hell am I looking at right now? Does No Rage not realize that's the wrong upgrade? Or are they pressing the wrong key repeatedly? Maybe that's the wrong hotkey. I don't know what's going on. Cyclones running in for the third right now. Oh, doing a bit of the in and out. Trying to get some probes. Okay, so a few of the Cyclones get sacrificed behind the mineral line. The other one's there. These Cyclones going to run into the natural at the same time. Cyclones are really good at diving. Kind of like those Marine Marauder run-bys we're used to seeing. These Cyclones go in the main. They can get a lot of damage. They've already killed so much. 16 probes went down. Shame the Cyclones didn't go back in on the left side, but still so much damage happening. So hard to get on top of this without blink charge, and with all the Phoenix going down, every single probe goes down in the main. Killer cannot get on top of these Cyclones. They're just faster than his entire army. Oh my god, the Stalkers are getting ravaged. The way these Cyclones dart in, this is something we forget, is that it's they're almost like stim marauders. They're not quite, because they don't have concussive and they're a little slower than a stim marauder, but they're also not damaging themselves to do it. Their mobility is insane. And if you try to chase them down with like stalkers and stuff, they just kite them down. That is crazy. 41 probes just went down. No Rage is still just massing Cyclones. And No Rage clearly has no idea how to play this build. They're still super focused on gas. They're making ship weapons upgrades. They've got 4 factories. This is the dumbest stuff I've ever seen. Now, let's be fair. Killer's still just building Colossus Stalker Sentry, and it's like, come on, just make 2 or 3 robos, make immortals, make get a few Colossus is fine, but start making immortals or disruptors. Maybe get charge alerts. You can use blink stalkers, but you're gonna have to be very quick at blinking them back. Otherwise, they're not really gonna pay for themselves. Army supply is still kind of similar. Ooh, battery did get overwhelmed there. That immortal is doing so much. This is the one immortal from the early game. He takes his 10th kill. Oh, that fight was so much better for Protoss, but Cyclones are in behind the third, killing so many probes. And it looks like a Cyclone tried to run in the natural as well, but it got taken out. 13 more probes go down. So you can see, when there's enough Protoss units all together, especially with Big Daddy Immortal, that one Immortal with 13 kills has just been the one thing keeping Killer alive in this game. Problem is, No Rage is now on 65 workers, 3 base. If No Rage takes like 2 more bases and is still building reactor factories, no. Why are you making +3 ship weapons? You have to realize. You can't not realize, dude. Imagine if these Cyclones had +2 attack in that last fight. I reckon they might have actually killed the whole Protoss army. And +1 in the previous fight before that. As Starport's finally starting up, No Rage is like, I've got to get ready to use that. A 4th command center is like, so No Rage is way ahead economically, and he's like transferring workers to long distance mine that 4th, and there's still so many Cyclones out. Whereas Primal Kill is trying to just get +2 attack, trying to build an Immortal now after having 4 Colossi up. The Colossi can get decent damage, but there's nothing buffering for them. There's nothing in front, no vision. Oh no, the Colossus are getting jumped on. Actually, despite that, the Colossus were doing pretty decent damage. I didn't think the Colossi would do well at all against the Cyclones, but actually that was a lot of Cyclones for just 2 Colossus to go down. And now there's a second Immortal out to back up the first one. Uh-oh. If you do nothing but build Cyclones, you need to be careful about how you fight. You want to kind of come in with big surrounds, kind of like playing Bio up against Colossus armies as well. Just this +3 ship weapons, guys. I don't know what I'm looking at right now. People always play very sloppy early in a patch, but this is especially special. There's a Raven on the way right now, and we've got gases on the 4th, still prioritizing gas. I mean, to be fair, No Rage is spending a fair bit of it with that +3 ship weapons and that Raven production. It's not like the gas bank is that crazy, so fair enough. And I think No Rage would be the first to say, hey, I've never played Mass Cyclone before like this, especially with this new one. I don't know what I'm doing either. Interference Matrix is on the way. There are more Immortals being built, as well as Charge on the way, 2-1 upgrades. Killer's trying to hang on right now. Okay, he's going to try to take out a Cyclone. Does manage to do so. That is 14 Cyclones right there. 4 Cyclones come down the left side. Looks like they cleaned up a probe. Going for these run-bys continually has been so effective. And even with the battery there, if you don't overcharge, the Cyclones just go right through the battery. And look at that. Oh my god, it comes forward. Is he just going to kill the Nexus? Just kills the Nexus. Doesn't even get a cancel there. And then runs away. And these 3 guys, yeah, they killed all those Stalkers. They forced battery overcharge out. And they're going to run away. Nice multi-prong. Now Interference Matrix, you have to upgrade that these days, has been upgraded. So he's going to try and make Ravens to Interference Matrix the Colossus. Very cute addition. Also, if those Ravens come to the front, they can kill this Observer, which is kind of crucial. Unfortunately, right now it's just chilling in the natural. Looks like it did get F2 to the front there, so that should allow No Rage to kill this Observer. There we go. Does take that Observer out. Okay, we've got 3 Immortals out though. This is a problem, but it is 32 Cyclones, so the numbers might just not care. 3 Immortals is probably a little bit too slow to get that count up. And we've got some Zealots trying to warp in right now. More units coming to the front. Zealots and Immortals, a pack of Stalkers on the left, ready for that run by. But now there's Interference Matrix here as well. The 3 Colossus, if they start getting Matrix, that could be a big game changer. No Rage is coming in. This is what we call the tactical blob. A very technical maneuver. It's where you grab your blob and you click your blob onto their blob. He's going to blob him. He's going to blob him. He dives in. Interference Matrix on one of the Colossi. And the whole Protoss army disappears in an instant. Oh my god. +3 ship weapons. Mass Cyclone. He now starts armor upgrades at the end of the game. No Rage starts armor upgrades here to round out those upgrades to these 3-1 Cyclones. Yes, Ravens don't have an attack either. And No Rage manages to overcome a 1200 MMR gap. 9/2 Terran feats of 4800 Protoss. What did we just witness? All right, guys, that was a completely ridiculous game. But let's be real. If we go take a look at the pros games, it has not looked that broken in pro games. As crazy as that is, we have to remember, this is what's so interesting about a unit like this, is it can spiral out of control like crazy. But watching Showtime stream, he repeatedly beat Spirit trying to play Cyclone mech. We can see a game here, a big Immortal. He opened up very heavy Phoenix, so if the Cyclones ever push, they'd all get picked up. Added a few Immortals. He's already up on 4 bases, and he does a charge lot Immortal Phoenix timing. And he kind of crushed through in this game. Just overwhelmed. See, he's waiting for one more warp in. We can fast forward one more cycle, just like 10 seconds there. And you can see he's going to come in, picks up the last Phoenix. The tanks can't get over there. Spirit has to tap. And you can kind of see that across their games. I mean, they kept playing. Showtime was continually beating it. Harstem as well in his stream was saying, if as long as you've got units that outrange it, like Stalkers or Mortals that have similar or better range, the Cyclone can't really do that much to the opponent. And as the game gets later, it doesn't actually scale as well as, you know, as it seems it would. The funny thing is, will this scale to lower level play? And I think it might as players adjust, right? Obviously, stop building Stalker Colossus against it. Build Immortals, build Zealots. I wouldn't advise Phoenix either. I think you got to be very careful with how your Phoenix engage. And they're not going to be able to do that much. I think Immortals seem to be like the one mainstay as the game goes on in terms of what you want to add to your composition. And yes, that'll adapt, but we got to look at how bad the Terran's build was in that last game, and the fact that he overcame a gap like that. Yes, the opponent built the wrong units, but it does seem like it's too fast. It can just be in there and catch you off guard. Even Showtime would get caught off guard a lot and have to like snap recall. It's too fast. It moves and shoots, and when it does find it has the numbers advantage, it just jumps on top and kills you. So I do think it's a bit too versatile and overpowered, even if it's not actually winning pro games just yet. It does still look a bit silly, but the addendum here is that it's actually not winning at pro level. And you know what's funny, guys? Guess what? The changes have changed. 31st August, literally just as I'm making this video, new changes have just come out. The Cyclone damage has changed, so it's going to go from 10 plus 5 verse armored essentially in that previous iteration to now 11, so a bit better versus the non-armored units, plus 3, so 11 and 14. So slightly better versus those ones, a little worse was the armored. Its speed after the upgrade is going to be nerfed a little bit more again. And its health, rather than going from 100 to 120, is going to go to 110. Which is also kind of interesting. So they've kind of very quickly after a few days said, okay, these changes were a bit ridiculous. Let's just tone all of those down just a little bit. I think this makes perfect sense because these style of unit with its speed and move and shoot mechanic as well as its mass ability seems to be like, it's very easy for it to be a bit too powerful. I think also it's just very hard to balance this design of unit for those reasons I've talked about previously in my Cyclone video. You can mass them very easily, super fast, and a move and shoot mechanic in general is quite dangerous. It's why units that have this, like the Phoenix, have a traditional weakness, right? They have to pick units up and like hold them there. They can't just attack ground or they'd be crazy overpowered. Likewise, the previous Cyclone move and shoot mechanic, you had to build them one at a time out of a tech lab, very expensive. It was prohibitively hard to get a lot of them, and they were very fragile for their cost. At the end of the day, I think it's kind of cool we've got all these changes, but I don't think that it's going to go through. I think we're probably going to end up reverting back to the old Cyclone because it is so volatile. And it seems like there's so many issues with this where it's like, oh, okay, it's really good in this position. Now it's really bad in that position. It seems to be hard to find a middle ground that feels good. And I think it's also taking up a lot of the focus. Don't get me wrong, pros are out there testing all the other things, but everyone in the community, myself, I'm making dumb videos talking about this over and over again because it's so visual, right? It's so easy for us to absorb, like, holy crap, that looks so silly, this blob of cyclones just running around and killing everything. It's easy content. So I'll stop feeding into it as well. I promised you guys that. I will stop doing just non-stop cycling videos. I really want to do a video, and I'm working on it right now, talking about all the other changes because they're not being talked about enough, and they're massive. The Hydra changes, the Baneling changes, the Lurker changes, the EMP changes, all of these different things that are having really big impacts. So guys, the Cyclone got made really stupid. They've toned it down to be slightly less silly. I still think it's probably not going to go through because it's just problematic with this fast move and shoot unit that kind of does everything. Even if it's not overpowered at pro level, I think it is just something that's going to be so difficult to balance for varying skill levels and to make it avoid situations that don't make people rage. I think at the moment it's going to be too easy to just make people angry playing against it, and will probably cause a bit too much drama in that regard, as well as not really creating the best gameplay dynamics. I could be wrong on that though, so I'll keep my eyes on it. Stay tuned for that balance video where we're going to get into the meat and potatoes. I'm going to try and put that one out tomorrow. I'm working on that as hard as I can, and I think there's so much going on, and I'm amazed no one's talking about like the Baneling hit point nerf and the Hydra changes. They've already adjusted those, so stay tuned for that. I'll talk to you guys about that tomorrow or the day after. Thanks for watching, goodbye, and good night.